And thank you to Indie Author Fringe. I'm very excited to be part of this exciting, fun gathering of authors. There is nothing more fun than talking about authors and book publishing and book marketing. And so today, what we want to speak about is influencers. How to grow our reading audience using key industry influencers. I'm going to begin with just a little bit about myself and where writers win. As David mentioned, I've been involved in publishing and marketing and PR for a long time. And yet my father and I co-created a publication called Pool and Billiard Magazine. And at that time, it was mostly to support my habit as a professional pool player. But when I retired from playing pool, I was asked to write books about pool that I wrote with my coach on the Pro Tour. And they were very successful, but only once I learned that writing the book is only truly the beginning. If you don't market it, it doesn't, like they say, you can build the best mousetrap in the world. Maybe people will beat a path to your door, but nowadays, truly, if you don't market it, you'll probably starve to death. So we began learning a lot about how to publicize books. And with the advent of social media and all the fun that comes with that, I developed into working more and more with authors who I saw, a lot of fellow authors struggling with these same things. So we established Where Writers Win, and we were built basically to provide real answers and the most economical resources for authors out there, whether traditionally published or indie published, although more of our authors, of course, come from the indie sector. We maintain a blog with tons of free advice articles. We have a team that does author websites and trains authors how to use them so that you're not paying somebody ongoing for those sorts of things. We do one-on-one social media training to find the correct audience that you're trying to drill down to. We work with book tour and workshop prep if you're getting ready to go out on tour and need some speaking skills. We also have some great video book trailer resources. And then we have something that's called the Winner Circle. We found that for some of our clients that we were doing marketing for, we were recreating the wheel over and over again in terms of finding the right reviewers, but in the specific genre that an author needs, finding upcoming conferences or festivals where they could speak, or appropriate competitions to enter, reaching out to live book clubs, all those sorts of things. And those are what we call those influencers. So today we're going to talk about how to reach those key influencers that are going to be critical to your success. So what is an influencer? Again, anyone who has the power to share your book message with many readers. Social media often becomes about connecting one-on-one, and those can become influencers, but your basic influencers are the ones that from the get-go are going to connect your book message to a lot of other people, not just themselves. So our typical useful influencers include book reviewers, both your traditional ones through printed newspapers and magazines, but also your online. Your book bloggers and nowadays vloggers are becoming a new and fun thing. Book clubs, both virtual and those live clubs. Libraries who in the US are becoming more and more influential as they try and establish themselves more as community outreach places. We have a lot of authors that are working side by side through libraries and their indie bookstores to conduct signings and readings and that sort of thing, typically because a library has greater resources and space to accommodate an author, and then the books can be sold by the accompanying indie bookstore. We love indie bookstores. They are key to a lot of author success, along with the chains, but sometimes reaching out to them, you need to be reaching out to the right ones and understanding what's to be done when you reach out to them. Conferences and festivals, this is a very and vast untapped resource for indie authors. And then, of course, our affinity groups, which is very much going to depend on what you write. So if you write about animals, maybe that's doing something through your local animal shelter. If you write on women's issues, maybe that's doing something through your local women's center. Those are what we call those affinity groups. So how do we find them? This becomes the challenge, of course, for authors. You can Google search, you can do blog tours. We do recommend that you do your research if you're going to engage in a blog tour. There are some great ones, and then there are others that are quite expensive, but maybe are a little bit of a mismatch for the genre you're looking for. So the key is to know exactly which sites they're reaching out to. There are wonderful discoverability tools out there. And then there is our own, of course, Winner Circle, where we shrink the web and get you all the resources in one place. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through each of the different influencers today. So the first challenge, getting to the right reviewers, which are best for your genre, who gets traffic, who accepts self-published work, and who does author interviews. And that on the slide is basically a snapshot of what our system looks like there. So we have 33 different genres identified, and we have the best reviewers in each genre. One fun thing that we do on this chart is you see those linked, those view buttons. Those are actually links right to the review policy page. We have found that there seems to be an inversely proportional relationship between the strength of a site for readers and how difficult it might be for an author to find the review policy page. So we go out and find those for you, and then we let you know via these charts whether, and you can sort by each of these two, whether or not those reviewers are free. Obviously, there are some editorial reviews out there, especially for the indie side of things, Kirkus Reviews, Publishers Weekly, Chanticleer, Forward, that have charges, but they are valuable editorial reviewers. Then we let you know if they take self-published work, if they do reviews post-publication or just pre-pub. Most of the pre-pub reviewers are advising anywhere from 120 days to 6 months in advance nowadays, so you do need to pitch those folks first and then get to the reviewers that accept post-publication work. Whether or not they do author interviews, many do, and that can be fun. Some will also do giveaways in conjunction with those interviews. And then, of course, we rate them within the site. Now, we don't put up anybody who's not already getting substantial traffic. There are thousands of reviewers out there. We narrow it down to the ones who are getting the best traffic, who are sharing their reviews to other sites other than their own website, meaning Goodreads, Amazon, social media sites, Facebook, Pinterest, etc. And then we give you any notes and updates for those sorts of things. So again, reviewers, very, very key. We have templates also for pitching those reviewers. Always be kind, of course, and recognize that you do want to do them early because these reviewers, especially the best ones, are being inundated with new books. They get a lot of material across their desks, so you do have to be patient with them. So book clubs, this is our favorite part of the Winner Circle and also the most difficult to identify because book clubs, unlike reviewers, typically don't have websites. They're you and me and 10 or 20 of our friends getting together once a month to talk over books and wine and have wine or maybe dinner or a snack. And so they don't typically have commercial websites, except for the very, very large ones. We maintain those also on the list. But the way that we do this is you can click a dot anywhere on the map and see all the book reviews that we've identified within that state. The important thing to know is that, again, when pitching them, these are independents. We let you know what kind of work they take so that, you know, if you write thriller and they're only reading cookbooks, and yes, there are a few clubs that just read cookbooks, you won't be pitching them your thriller. So we give you that intelligence up front to make it easy for you to choose those book clubs. As we all know, book clubs are a tremendous, tremendous influence on readership nowadays. I've heard wonderful stories about books that have become very successful because of book clubs. One, of course, is Water for Elephants. That was going to be a tiny run out of Algonquin Books, and the book clubs got a hold of it, and there you go. It became tremendously big, huge audience. And another fun story I heard is, in one case, a book was being read by some clubs in Nashville, Tennessee, in the USA, and one club was reading it. Another club got a hold of it. They loved it. Pretty soon it spread to this whole area, the entire state, and then the region all wanted to begin reading this book. The fun thing about that is the book had been out of print for 10 years, and the publisher had to go and reprint of the book. So not only are book clubs a huge influence on your readership, but they can also very much, obviously, extend the shelf life of your book. Connecting with bookstores, also very, very important. Today's savvy booksellers have so much to offer authors and readers. They do special events and book signings. They host a lot of book clubs. They do reading lists, all sorts of things. It just depends on how clever they are and how much they want to get involved in their community. But we have to understand that there are very steadfast rules when pitching independent bookstores. They all operate independently, but there are some key factors that make them similar. One is that because they're small and independent, they do not have large staffs. One of the key complaints that we hear from bookstore owners is they might get 10, 12 authors a day in their pitching, why don't you do a book signing for me? And their complaint is, look, even Penguin Random House has to make an appointment with us. You cannot just drop by. So we really advise authors to mail or email that bookstore first with their intent, or to give them a phone call and make an appointment like any book salesperson would do. And then also recognize that because they are a business and because margins can be low on book sales. I recently heard at IBPA that they actually have, they're operating typically on 2% margins, obviously not a lot. So recognize that when you go into the bookstore, while they are a tool for you with their audience, what they're looking for from you is to be a tool for them to bring in more people to their store. So assure them that you want to do a signing there because you want to bring a lot of people in to peruse their store, buy your book, and hopefully others while they're there. That is key. The whole win-win situation is key to having a good relationship with your bookstores. Start with your nearest local store, one that I surely hope you frequent first, and then you can build on the success of one store leading to another store. That, again, is critical to working with these bookstores, being able to use the success and sales of one store to move on to the next one. Chain stores are good too, but again, start in your local market and have some success there. And make sure that you bring in some readers and, advertise it to all your friends, do Facebook events, anything that you can do to help get more people out to your signings and to buy your books there will benefit you and the store and get you more invites to other events. Other events, what might those look like? Obviously, we maintain a huge calendar, hundreds and hundreds of writing competitions, writers' conferences, and book festivals. So the conferences and festivals, obviously, these are great places for authors to speak. They're also great places in the case of writers' conferences if you have an upcoming title, and that there's a conference coming up that's close to your genre, is going to have big authors there of your genre. It's a good place to go and connect with those authors for potential blurbs and working together. And again, festivals, pitch them early. You look them up on the calendar, pitch them as early as you can, and check on their websites. They all have specific instructions. Some will want print copies of the book, some will want digital, but they are a great opportunity to get both speaking and readings at those festivals and then subsequent book sales. I want to skip back to bookstores for a minute too. When we were talking about collaboration, I should mention that, in some cases with a bookstore, if you write in a genre, say thriller or mystery or romance, you might want to gather together with other authors in the area who are writing similar things to do joint signings. No bookstore can accommodate all the authors that pitch them, obviously, but they could do, and I think it would be a fun thing, and it's been very successful in some markets where they either do a debut author day, where a lot of new authors come out for a day, and they each bring an audience, which works very, very well. Or you could do a thriller, suggest a thriller day to the bookstore, or a romance day. And by grouping these authors together and each of you pulling in your audiences, this makes the bookstore very happy. And of course, you're pulling from each other's audiences to buy your books as well. So, also behind the curtain in our Winner's Circle are free online tools for authors, deals and steals. We have a lot of hours of training panels from conferences, and we have blog directories and guest blogging opportunities, and of course those templates and tutorials with sample press releases and tip sheets and calendars and strategy planners. Take advantage of those tip sheets and the pitch letters that we have in there. When pitching those bookstores or those book clubs, be very careful to write a kind and exciting pitch, not too long, but with a little bit of information about you, a little bit of information about the book. Include your tip sheet. It's all about presenting that very professional appearance from the get-go when pitching these folks, getting the attention of the bookstore or the book club by having a very professional approach from the get-go is going to kind of put you out in front of the pack of, again, all those people that we tell you are pitching there. We also have a clever thing. You'll see the button on this behind the curtain page. It says visit our state-by-state library listings. This was also intended to be part of the Winner's Circle subscription. There's access to over 20,000 libraries on these lists. It is state by state, and you can click the little tabs on the dock to find them, and then we have links to their websites and their phone numbers and things to reach out to those libraries. But by the time we got it done, this whole big linked list, we really discovered that or just assumed, it didn't seem right, since libraries were free to the community, for us to put that in the subscription bit. So you can go to the bottom of any writerswin.com page and you will see that button, and you can click to get there. Those are absolutely free to anybody to reach out to those libraries. So we do encourage you to do that. Again, start in your neighborhood, in your local area, have some success there, and then use that success to breed more success in nearby markets. And again, we describe it as our clients as sort of a spider web. You kind of web out from your local market to neighboring markets and spread out as you go. That seems to be most successful for virtually every author. Even if you're writing in genre, a lot of the bookstores will tell you that, look, they would prefer to take local authors first, because they know from experience that they will get some traction and some traffic from people coming in to support those local authors. So we have a few gifts for you today too. If you send me your email address, I'll give you a link to our free author-friendly monthly marketing planner, and also our social media savvy cheat sheet. And of course, if you have any questions on reaching out to clubs or to indie bookstores, or how to pitch those festivals or conferences, I do encourage you to ask. We're delighted to answer anything that we can to help indie authors out. We really want to make sure that they have the opportunity to succeed and to reach their markets. You wrote a book for a reason, to have a readership, and we're going to help you get there. For our Winner's Circle, that Winner's Circle subscription that I talked about throughout this talk, it's normally $59.95 a year. And the link is there that you can join, writerswin.com/join-today. If you use the promo code that we have here, VIPW20, that will get you $20 off the subscription, so that you can give it a try for a full year. And again, that's access to the book clubs and to the festival calendars, everything that's in there. And if you ever have any questions on how to use it or operate it, we have people to help you do all of that too. So with that, I'm going to wish you happy hunting. And also, if you would like to connect with us, Please do. Our website is up on the screen, as long as our Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn page. My email address is on there. And again, I encourage any questions that you might have when reaching out to any of these key influencers. But please include it as part of your, the social media stuff is important. And we encourage you to do a little bit of that every day. But we do encourage folks, which is part of our monthly marketing planner, to, keep pitching. Don't give up. Keep pitching. Go out and pitch one book club a week, pitch one reviewer a week, pitch one festival a week. Make that part of your weekly marketing budget, so to speak. And that's going to help you gain traction over the long term and keep your book out there and in front of people. What we tell our authors is that, at the end of every day, how many new people are going to know your name? And at the end of the year, how many people will that be? So pick that number in your head and see how many of those people you can reach out to every day, and just make it a part of your ongoing promotion as an author, and you will be successful with those critical influencers. So with that, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you again, Indie Author Fringe. I'm excited to hear all the great talks going on through the online conference this year, and hope you have a very, very successful event. And for each of you authors, I'm wishing you outrageous success in your career. Thank you.